All of a sudden, you find yourself playing a game of chess. Your opponent has the white pieces, you're on the back foot already. They've played e4, you're most well versed in the Sicilian, so you open up with c5. They bring their knight out, it's kind of an old or classic Sicilian. It's not an old Sicilian. Kind of is. Who knows? You roll for a history check and you fail that history check, so you don't know your opening theory. So you're going to continue on with your e6 Sicilian, which is where you push this e6 pawn and you follow that up with d5. You free up this bishop to defend this pawn here, and we go from there. Now it is a case of development. You develop your knight out to f6, can hardly go wrong there, and the bishop that you prepared earlier on now springs into action. You get castled before this nonsense can make itself known, and you get yourself over to the side of the board with the king, and you think about what to do next. There is an interesting tactic that we might try here, that you might try here, I should say. You're just calculating if it works. The tactic is you bring your queen very keenly out here to b6, attacking this bishop. That's nominally what it does. But it's a double attack because you also have a queen bishop battery here on the unprotected or the underprotected f pawn. They can bring their knight out to defend the bishop, but they can't defend both things at once. They'll probably take the knight. We can take intermezzo with the bishop, and I think you've taken the lead. Let's find out. Let's find out if your calculations were correct. But I think you're onto a winner here. That's quite a nice move. Quite a nice move indeed. Interestingly, I think we can. I think you can. And you think you can. I don't know why I've gone with this second person chess, but we're committing to it. You're committing to it. You think that you can get away with moving your rook here, and it's not going to be checkmate. So you do that. You tempt them into taking here, maybe with the erroneous thought that they're going to checkmate you, but then you can drop your bishop back here, and they have given away their rook, or they've given away their queen, I should say, for both of your rooks, but they also drop this bishop. And now when the dust is all settled here, it's not entirely clear what's happening, and that's okay. That's chess. That's oftentimes that's going to be what chess is. So for now, you're going to take another pawn here. Might have been a little bit greedy, but sometimes you got to get greedy. Hard to talk like this. You will attack their knight, and I think you think it's prudent to get your bishop out here. Yes, if they want to trade, that is also fine. Your real concern here is not getting too lost in the sauce here. A developing move, never going to be too annoying. You're fine with that. Trades are fine. We have more firepower, just about, I think. You're going to drop back here. No problem. Again, a trade here will be fine by me. That's not bad. And where do we go from here, you ask? Defend a pawn, why not? This knight is still happily pinned. Less so now, that's fine too. So you bring your rook to this open c file. They bring their rook to hit you. Ooh, that's interesting actually. We might have to give back a little material here, or avoid or face the devastating windmill attack. Although I think we can actually get away with it. They can come in here, that's fine. We can slide to the right here. You can slide to the right here, because we're also not quite good. Not quite actually good. That's interesting. So we're going to take that knight. Fine, that's check, that's okay. I'm going to slide across here. We are still one point of material up, but it is a strange position we find ourselves in. We can't get away with pushing there. You think about what's happening here. And you consider pushing your rook up here. But you're not 100% sure why. So you make a rather timid move and you drop a... Oh, you don't drop a pawn. You don't. You nearly did. You nearly did, pal. And you bring your rook to the e-file to shore up this pawn. This is your passer. So if we can trade off everything, this fella's free. Maybe that should be our plan. He's quite well defended right now. There's not a huge amount of weakness here. You can push this, and you do. And you do. You know that you're going to be able to push here next, and push the pass pawn is never a bad plan. Never too bad a plan. Your position hangs together a little nicely, I will say, for what we have. But you're still not 100% sure how to deliver the final blow. Your initial reaction is to continue pushing here. You so do. You think it might be better to actually deep freeze these pawns. So you do. You're not actually that concerned with your bishop coming in here. So you continue on with the push. Yes, you understand that that's alright. You want to make sure not to step in the way of the defense of that pawn. And continue on with your agenda, although that might have been a little foolhardy. Just friend to friend. Yes, yes. You understand the risks. You see now, the thing you said you weren't going to do, you've after doing it, but this isn't. Yeah, no, it's not looking good, lads. You're not having a great time out here, but you're not lost. Not all is lost. You can defend that there. That's fine. You're still defending it. You're okay. You're okay. You're all right. You're all right. Okay, you've still got a chance. You think that they might have missed this, which is very likely what's happened. You try to think of a way to keep this safe and make some sort of progress. Excuse you. You might be forced to just use this as bait to go and hoover up these pawns. Or not hoover up the pawns, I should say. It's... Actually, you can do this. You can do that. It's not better, it's not worse, it's not good. See, because then that can happen. But you can get a pawn along the way. So you don't lose your ambition. We probably have a draw in here somewhere, but we do want to make it a little bit more difficult than that. Just keep things interesting here. You're doing a great job, and I'm very proud of you. You're just making sure that nothing hangs. It is quite a drawish position. Your king is quite exposed, their king is quite safe. You've dropped a pawn, but have you gained a friend? Actually, you haven't dropped a pawn. Maybe they thought you had, but you had not. Very interesting. Very interesting. You're doing great everywhere with the clock. The clock is making a bit of a mockery of you at the moment. But thankfully there isn't that much to consider piece-wise. So you can and I think you've got a huge break in the case here. Well, they're going to be able to defend it. You're not. It's not the winner. It's not the slam dunk it seemed with this and this, but they will have to jump back here. That's fine. We can continue to pile on the pressure. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Step on up here. See, it is a little tricky to make progress. So we're going to try with our king. You'd be half interested. Something like this. Something like this. A little sneak attack on the bishop you level there, which is no harm. You don't wanna forget about your king and your queen aligned there. But you won't, you're fine. You're in control. I think it might be time now to push this pawn. Curious here, you're curious. This is really the only move you have. Don't mind that so much. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, what are we to make of this? We've got some job keeping you out of here. Now, if you're asking me, it doesn't. I wouldn't say they're doing too great here. That looks like you've got yourself a checkmate. Have you? You have indeed. Great job. Very proud of you. You dug in there. Maybe it wasn't the cleanest game you've ever played, but if we have a little wheel back in time, Right, so I've just had a quick look over your game, and I'm not going to haul you over the coals because you did win the game in the end, and that's what matters. Your opponent is going to make mistakes, but you nearly gave the bloody thing away, didn't you? So when they push their pawn here, that is what gives us the impetus. You're able to slide on in here with your queen, and you're going to be able to, at the very least, perpetually check, but you're likely looking for a little bit more. So when they push their king in here, you're thinking, okay, great. You didn't want to do this because then it just sort of leads to a bit of repetition, king back and forth here, at least in the time pressure. That's what you were thinking. So you drop the queen in here, knowing that the king does not have anywhere to go, so you're going to be able to just slot on in here. Next move, checkmate, like what happened in the game. Except you missed a crucial detail, and that is this bishop dropping back here. So if the bishop drops back here, then the king is skewered by the queen, the bishop is protected by the rook. You can take the rook if you want, but they're going to take your queen. Even if you try and go and grab this piece here, the bishop is back in time to save it. And even if you do all this and then you start to push here, the bishop has plenty of time to drop back here, defend this pawn, and then over here it's a 2-on-1 king mess around against a pawn, so they're going to win. So the reason I'm not going to haul you over the coals is because the actual winning method is very, very tricky. There was a computer line that I was looking at there where you go like this, and the king drops up here, and you take the check here, and the king drops here, and you drop back here, king drops up here. It says to come all the way over here, and then you do this, and then you do this check, and then you take that check, and then you take here, you take on b4, and then when they take this, you take the rook, and you're going to promote. Very obscure, very computer line, just to give away your queen like that. That is kind of how endgames go sometimes, but it doesn't matter because you got the win anyway, and I'm very, very proud of you. I hope you enjoyed the game that you just played. If you want to stick around for more chess nonsense like this, feel free to subscribe and stick around. And as always, enjoy your chess just like you did today. Cheers.